Chapter 11, How to Control the 9 Empresses. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Of course I'm looking for you to have a baby with you. My beloved concubine. Dongfang Yuan smiled seriously, but the expression on Xiao Qingli's face suddenly changed, his entire face instantly turned extremely dark, and there was even a hint of murderous intent in his eyes. My dear concubine, it's not good for a woman to have such a bad temper. Be careful of imbalance of yin and yang, disrupting the cycle. Dongfang Yuan saw this and still teased calmly. Asshole. Xiao Qingli was so angry that she was gnashing her teeth at the moment, her face was gloomy and angry. She was once the empress of the 9 Nethers who stood on top of the world. There was a time when no man in the world dared to blaspheme her in the slightest, but at this time, he was actually being teased by Dongfang Yuan in front of his face. How could he not be angry in his heart? 9 Nether sky flash, that I saw that Xiao Qingli knew that she was no match for the Tianzuan realm. At this moment, she took advantage of Dongfang Yuan's blink of an eye and directly used her unique technique. The figure turned into 9 phantoms, running in 9 different directions in an instant. The speed was extremely fast, like a stream of light, and it ran thousands of meters away in an instant. As expected of the former empress of 9 Nethers. The peak of the earth profound realm can actually possess such speed. I'm afraid there won't be anyone in the entire northern territory who can compare with it. Seeing Xiao Qingli running away and Dongfang Yuan standing there calmly, looking at his speed, he couldn't help but sigh in his heart, but at this time, he slowly extended his palm, he flipped his palm, and a powerful suction force suddenly erupted, like a black hole vortex. Not long after Xiao Qingli ran out, her 9 figures were sucked back one after another. Break! Dongfang Yuan waved his hand, and the 8 false phantoms were destroyed directly, leaving only the real body. After being sucked over at this moment, Dongfang Yuan put his arms around her slender waist, suppressing and restraining her with strength. I lifted my nose slightly upward and took a light sniff at his collarbone. I couldn't help but say, it smells so good. Damn! You are a powerful person in the heavenly realm, and you openly bullied a young cultivator in the earthly Xian realm. If word spreads, aren't you afraid of being laughed at by others? Xiao Qingli's face was full of reluctance, and even more angry and gloomy. At this moment, she was hugged by Dongfang Yuan, and her whole body was suppressed and she couldn't move at all. Under this situation, if Dongfang Yuan wanted to do anything to her, she would be completely unable to resist. She was secretly hating in her heart, God, why did she let such a thing happen to her just after awakening her memory? Laughing? Ha ha ha, I am the emperor of Tianyan. If anyone dares to laugh, I will destroy him. As for you, my dear concubine, you are not a little monk. The reincarnation of the former empress was a woman who once stood on top of the world. Only a woman like this is qualified to be the mother of my child. Dongfang Yuan hooked Xiao Qingli's chin with his hand, put his mouth close to her ear, and whispered. Hearing this, Xiao Qingli couldn't help but tremble all over, with a look of shock on her face. You actually saw through my origins. Xiao Qingli was also very shocked inside. She never thought that in such a small northern territory, there would be people who could see through that she was the former empress. This directly shocked her and made her realize how extraordinary Dongfang Yuan was. Now that you know the origin of this emperor, then let's negotiate the terms. If you let go of me, the emperor, the emperor's pills, the emperor's weapons, the godless scriptures, etc., I can teach them to you. As long as you let me go, everything will be easy to discuss. After Xiao Qingli adjusted her emotions, her face gradually returned to coldness, showing a proud white swan-like posture. It also revealed her supreme temperament as an empress, and her movements were full of majesty. Dongfang Yuan shook his head at this moment. It's a pity that I don't dare to be interested in anything like the emperor's scripture. What interests me most is you. Hearing this, Xiao Qingli was so angry that she almost fainted. You. Dongfang Yuan, you have to know the consequences of angering an emperor. Xiao Qingli couldn't help but warn him. Don't say you were just the great emperor once. Even if you are the great emperor now, you still have to obediently give birth to my child. As Dongfang Yuan said this, he slapped Xiao Qingli's plump and round legs with his huge and rough palm. Snapped. A crisp sound resounded near the ruins. My beloved concubine is my beloved concubine, she is full of flexibility in every aspect, Dongfang Yuan said with a smile after shaking off his hand. Dongfang Yuan. Don't let me have a chance. Otherwise I will definitely kill you. Xiao Qingli's whole cheek couldn't help but turn red at this moment, and she didn't know whether it was anger or shyness. Dongfang Yuan didn't take her words seriously, although Xiao Qingli is the reincarnation of the Empress, no matter how fast her cultivation speed improves, she cannot be faster than him. Right now, he is a strong man in the first level of Tianzhuan realm, but his real combat power is enough to fight in the 7th level of Tianzhuan realm. A leap in talent creates history, and Xiao Qingli is only at the peak of the earth profound realm now. By the time she reaches the Tianzhuan realm, she may have already become a saint. As for the fact that she hates herself now, Dongfang Yuan doesn't take it to heart. Now they have never gotten along with each other, so they have no feelings. After spending some time together and falling in love, her hatred for herself will naturally turn into love. Oh, you still dare to scold me? It seems like it won't work if I don't teach you a lesson. Waving his hand, a branch appeared in Dongfang Yuan's hand. He turned Xiao Qingli over and then suppressed her with strength. He took the branch and whipped her buttocks hard. Swish, swish, swish. Snapped, snapped, snapped. The sound of branches breaking in the wind and contact with skin is endless. What? Dongfang Yuan. You are shameless. You bastard. I must, Xiao Qingli was almost crying after being bullied. Her face turned red with anger, she gritted her teeth, and glared at Dongfang Yuan fiercely. Although the branch would not cause any harm to her, at this moment, the shame in her heart completely exploded to the extreme. She was once the Empress, no creature in the world would dare to disrespect her. But now she was being beaten by Dongfang Yuan with a branch and was bullied. It was so shameful that there was no way she could accept it in her heart. After being taught a lesson by branches, Dongfang Yuan's hands were sore, but Xiao Qingli's eyes were still looking at him with great hatred. But compared to before, she has become quieter now, but there is still hatred in her eyes. Dongfang Yuan had no doubt that Xiao Qingli would look good to him whenever he had the chance, but he was not afraid. Okay, concubine. Since you have no objections, it's time for us to leave. Believe me, becoming my woman will be the most beautiful thing in your life. Dongfang Yuan untied Xiao Qingli and spoke slowly to her. Xiao Qingli stood there, still staring at her fiercely at this moment. She didn't run because she knew she couldn't run either. After a while, she said with a tone full of hatred, "Okay, don't let me find a chance, or I will make you pay the price." After saying that, Xiao Qingli crossed her arms and turned away with a gloomy face, no longer talking to Dongfang Yuan. Looking at this look, Dongfang Yuan couldn't help but feel a little cute. After the majestic Empress was reincarnated, she still looked as angry as a little girl. It was really wonderful. Okay, let's go then. Dongfang Yuan said calmly, then waved his hand, and then disappeared directly into the ruins of the Dream Dynasty with Xiao Qingli. Chapter 12:9 The Doubts of Empress Jiuyou. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 3 days later, news came from the border battlefield. The emperor of the Daming Dynasty, Xiao Tianding, and his army of millions of people from the Daming Dynasty all died tragically under the iron hoof of the Tianyan Dynasty. Rumor has it that in this battle, the Tianyan Dynasty's most powerful official, Xiang, personally led the army, assisted by Grand Marshal Feipeng, and fought against the elites of the Daming Dynasty. At the critical moment of the war, 3 soldiers wearing golden armor suddenly appeared on the side of Tianyan Dynasty. They hold a dragon-slaying sword in their hands and gallop across the battlefield like gods of death. They can be said to kill gods when gods block them, and Buddha when Buddha blocks them. Xiao Tianding, the monarch of the Daming Dynasty, was directly stabbed into the chest by 3 swords by 3 people. The last person cut off his head directly and was brutally cut into pieces. 5 days later, stare. Congratulations to the host. The prestige value of Tianyan Dynasty has increased by 500 points, and the current prestige value is 1,820 points. Reward gift package has been sent. At this time, in his own palace, Dongfang Yuan also heard the system notification sound in his mind. After Xiao Tianding and others died, the 3 god-killing guards and Zhou Xiang also led their people to completely take over the territory that once belonged to the Dongfang Dynasty. Now the prestige value of Tianyan Dynasty has been directly increased by points. Don't touch me. Asshole. Turtle bastard. Get out of here. At this time, Dongfang Yuan, who was distracted by the system's notification sound, kicked Xiao Qingli away from being pinned down. Xiao Qingli backed away crazily with disgust on her face, and kept wiping the marks around her mouth, her face full of disgust. At this moment, she looked at Dongfang Yuan with a mixture of disgust and humiliation. These days, she was bullied by Dongfang Yuan day and night, although it had only been a few days. For Xiao Qingli, the days were like years, and every minute and every second was torture to her. Dongfang Yuan is simply a beast. Born. After Dongfang Yuan was kicked away, he licked his lips and said, "My beloved concubine's struggle really makes me even more excited. Asshole. You are disgusting. If you dare to touch me again, be careful that I will self-destruct and die with you." Xiao Qingli was so anxious that she leaned against the wall and threatened. At this time, what surprised Xiao Qingli was that Dongfang Yuan really didn't touch her, but sat down directly. At this time, Dongfang Yuan did not hesitate and said directly in his heart, "System, open the reward package." Stare. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 2000 cultivation level X1, Jiuyou Heart X1, Tianfa Pill X30, 4th grade Enlightenment Pill X10, 5th grade Enlightenment Pill X5, Shadow Guard X10, Golden Armor Guard X10. The sound of the system sounded. Subsequently, 2000 years of cultivation was also directly blessed on Dongfang Yuan. The aura on Dongfang Yuan's body is also gradually rising, and his cultivation realm is also making breakthroughs one after another. 2nd level of Tianzuan realm. The 3rd level of Tianzuan realm, the 4th level of Tianzuan realm, all the way to the limit of the 5th level of Tianzuan realm. Dongfang Yuan's aura stopped growing. Seeing this scene, Xiao Qingli was completely shocked. She witnessed with her own eyes that Dongfang Yuan's cultivation level had broken through from the 1st level of Tianzuan realm to the 5th level of Tianzuan realm. This kind of cultivation breakthrough speed was something she had never seen before in her life. Is this person also a powerful person? His cultivation has been sealed by some kind of power. Once the seal is released, his cultivation will be restored. Yes. It must be so. Otherwise, how could this guy see through at a glance that I was once the great emperor? His identity is definitely not that simple. Xiao Qingli, who was leaning against the corner, looked at Dongfang Yuan at this moment and guessed in her heart. At this time, Dongfang Yuan had no idea what Xiao Qingli was thinking. He felt the current power in his body. His cultivation realm was now at the 5th level of Tianzuan realm, but he had a feeling that his current real combat power was far beyond the realm of Tianzuan realm. Even General Feipeng will not be his opponent at this moment. It's good to have a system. It's like riding a rocket when you start cheating. Breaking through the realm is fast. Dongfang Yuan smiled with satisfaction, and then read the introduction of those pills. Tianfa Dan, if you take it in the Xiaoyao realm, you can directly break through to the Dharma phase realm without any side effects. 4th grade Enlightenment Pill, if taken at or above the early stage of the Dharma realm, you can break through to the peak of the Dharma realm without any side effects. 5th grade Enlightenment Pill, if taken at the peak of the Dharma realm, you can break through to the heavenly realm without side effects. After reading the introduction of the elixirs, he waved his hand and all the elixirs appeared on his palm. Seeing this, Xiao Qingli couldn't help but look away. Tianfa Pill, Enlightenment Pill, how is it possible? In such a small place as the Northern Territory, there are very few alchemists who can refine 4th grade elixirs or above. How come this guy has so many heavenly magic pills? Xiao Qingli's face was very surprised. At this moment, she began to feel a little curious about Dongfang Yuan. His methods were so bizarre that Xiao Qingli couldn't help but wonder, is this guy still an alchemist? At this moment, Dongfang Yuan looked at the elixir in his hand and nodded with satisfaction. 30 heavenly law pills can be said to have directly helped his Tianyan Dynasty to give birth to 30 powerful men in the law realm. The 10 4th grade Enlightenment pills, plus those obtained previously, make a total of 6 fifth-grade enlightenment pills. In total, the Tianyan Dynasty can give birth to 10 strong men at the peak of Dharma realm and 6 strong ones at Tianzuan realm. Dongfang Yuan collected all the elixirs. At the same time, 10 shadow guards and 10 golden armor guards also appeared in the house. Meet the master. 20 figures knelt down on one knee and saluted Dongfang Yuan. Xiao Qingli was completely startled by the sudden appearance of 20 people. Her whole soft body couldn't help but cling to the wall, staring at these people solemnly. These people appeared silently and without any movement. The key was that the auras on their bodies were all at Dharma realm level. This made Xiao Qingli even more frightened. What other methods and trump cards does Dongfang Yuan have? Chapter 13 9 Nether Hearts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dongfang Yuan also began to check the information of the Shadow Guard and the Golden Armor Guard at this moment, 20 people, all of whom are at the peak level of Dharma realm, the same level as the God-slaying Guard. The Shadow Guard has a special ability, that is, it can hide in the darkness and escape into the shadows. It has extremely strong hiding ability and is a natural assassin killer. As for the Golden Armor Guards, they wear golden armor, and their characteristic is that each of them has extremely strong defense power. 10 people can join forces to form a golden armor formation. Once this formation is formed, it will not be easy even for a strong person in the second level of Tianzuan realm to break it. After reading this information, Dongfang Yuan also felt satisfied. You guys go down first. Yes, master. Immediately, 20 figures disappeared into the palace. Xiao Qingli looked at all this, the doubts in her eyes still lingering. At this moment, Dongfang Yuan took out the last reward, the Heart of 9 Nethers, a star-shaped Heart of Jiuyou, covered in purple, then appeared on Dongfang Yuan's palm, the Heart of the 9 Nether. It is an indispensable treasure for the evolution of the 9 Nether divine body into an immortal body. For those who possess the 9 Nether divine body, the Heart of the 9 Nether is a priceless treasure and has absolute attraction. And those who practice the power of Jiuyou, once they possess the Heart of Jiuyou, their strength will be greatly enhanced and they will be sublimated to a qualitative level. After listening to the introduction of the system, Dongfang Yuan found that this Jiuyou heart was of little use to him, but Heart of 9 Netherworlds. How is that possible? You actually have the Heart of 9 Netherworlds. At this time, before Dongfang Yuan could speak, Xiao Qingli looked at the Jiuyou heart in his palm and said in shock. Her eyes at this moment were staring at the 9 Nether heart, and the depths of her pupils were filled with infinite desire for it, that is the Heart of Jiuyou. Even at her peak, the Heart of the 9 Nethers was a treasure that she had to fight to get. Thinking back to the beginning, if she could have a 9 Nether heart, her divine body could evolve and transform directly into a 9 Nether immortal body. If she had the 9 Nether immortal body, how could she have lost so embarrassingly in that battle? It's just that Xiao Qingli is very puzzled. In the world she lives in, the Jiuyou heart is an extremely rare treasure. She has been searching for it for tens of thousands of years but there is no clue, and how did Dongfang Yuan get it? Dongfang Yuan smiled. This system is really well understood. Now, whatever he lacks, he will give it to himself. Seeing Xiao Qingli's eyes sparkle when she saw Jiuyou's heart, Dongfang Yuan couldn't help but smile. Now, I haven't completely figured you out yet. Dongfang Yuan had a faint smile on his face. Yes, dear concubine, this is indeed the Heart of Jiuyou. I know that my beloved concubine's physique is the 9 Nether divine body, and she must be in great need of this 9 Nether heart. So, I plan to give it to my beloved concubine as a betrothal gift. Dongfang Yuan said suddenly. Xiao Qingli's face was shocked. She couldn't believe what she heard. Give it to yourself. This evil man actually wants to give Jiuyou's heart to him. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. This pervert definitely doesn't have such good intentions and would give Jiuyou's heart to him without any hesitation. When something goes wrong, there must be a monster. Xiao Qingli's heart instantly became vigilant, and she asked with a bad face, Evil thief, what other evil ideas are you trying to play? If you dare to bully others too much, I will really blow myself up and take you to hell with me. Dongfang Yuan looked helpless and said with some injustice, My dear concubine, look at what you said. When I give something to my own woman, do I still need to have some conspiracy? Although this Jiuyou heart is extremely precious, it can be called a priceless treasure. But in my eyes, no matter how priceless and precious this Jiuyou heart is, it is not as valuable as one of your hairs. Having said that, Dongfang Yuan moved Jiuyou's heart toward Xiao Qingli with a sincere face. After Xiao Qingli took over Jiuyou's heart, and after confirming that there was no problem with Jiuyou's heart, her face was completely stunned. What on earth does this evil man want to do? I really gave myself the heart of Jiuyou. Is it true that he is sincere to himself as he said? Do not, wrong. He is a big pervert and a beastly bastard. How can such a person tell the truth? However, if he didn't really have feelings for her, how could he give the heart of the 9 Nethers to him? If he used this as a blackmail, maybe he would be forced to surrender for the sake of Jiuyou's heart, but he didn't, but gave it directly to himself. For a moment, Xiao Qingli was confused because of Dongfang Yuan's sincere operation. Although she was once an empress, a woman who stood on top of the world, but in fact, she has never experienced love between a man and a woman. Although her defensiveness is not low, her defensiveness is based on people who have evil intentions towards her, but at this moment, Dongfang Yuan gave her a trick that focused on sincerity, which directly messed up her heart. Could it be that, this guy, is sincere? Xiao Qingli couldn't help but have this question in her heart. At this time, Dongfang Yuan saw Xiao Qingli in a daze, a gentle smile on his face, and his figure slowly approached. Before Xiao Qingli could react, Dongfang Yuan was standing in front of her. Their faces were very close, and Xiao Qingli did not back away out of fear at this time. Dongfang Yuan's face slowly stretched downward. Just when Xiao Qingli thought he was going to kiss her again, Dongfang Yuan suddenly put his mouth next to Xiao Qingli's ear and said in a gentle tone, "My dear concubine, you can just fuse the heart of Jiuyou in this palace. I have to do some business first." Then, Dongfang Yuan showed a slight smile on his face, turned around and left without touching her. In situ, Xiao Qingli didn't know why, but her cheeks and earlobes became extremely red, and she always had an unpleasant feeling in her heart. After reacting, she immediately shook her head to wake herself up. "Xiao Qingli. What are you thinking about? You are Empress Jiuyou, a giant in the universe who once controlled a holy river. How could you fall under such a person?" After she finished talking to herself, she glanced at the heart of the 9 Nethers in her hand, and her psychological defenses began to ripple again. After leaving the palace, Dongfang Yuan summoned all civil and military officials to prepare for the meeting in the main hall. He couldn't help but have a faint smile on his face. He knew in his heart that he was not far away from completely defeating Xiao Qingli, no matter whether she is an empress or a queen. In short, they are still women, under the premise that he himself is weak, but the opponent is powerful and has unfathomable background. Coupled with his subconscious biological desire to be strong and competitive, he finally cooperates with his sincere temperament. For any woman, this is a sure blow. Chapter 14, Promoting the Dynasty. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Above the main hall of Tianyan Dynasty, at this moment, Dongfang Yuan was sitting at the top, and all the civil and military officials of Tianyan Dynasty were standing neatly below. The 4 god-slaying guards were all standing behind Dongfang Yuan, and General Feipeng was also standing in the first row, standing at the front with Xuanhuan. After they seized the territory of the Daming Dynasty, they immediately returned to the dynasty. At this moment, Xiao Tianding's head was also placed on the table in front of Dongfang Yuan. This time, by destroying the Great Dream Dynasty and killing Xiao Tianding, I have avenged part of my father's revenge. But, there are still 2 forces, Xiaoyu Palace and Blood Shadow Tower, and none of them can escape. King Tianyu, pass on the emperor's decree to hang Xiao Tianding's head high on the wall of the imperial city to show those forces. This is the fate of those who dare to offend me, Tianyan. Dongfang Yuan immediately ordered. Yes. Your Majesty. King Tianyu also immediately came out of the procession and left the hall with the head. The destruction of the Great Dream Dynasty in this battle also allowed many forces in the northern territory to see the strength of our Tianyan Dynasty. However, if we rely on the current strength of the dynasty to annihilate the Blood Shadow Tower and rule the world, it is still far away. Not enough. So I decided to improve the overall strength of the Tianyan Dynasty. Only an immortal foundation can make our Tianyan Dynasty famous across the 5 continents. Dongfang Yuan said solemnly. Your Majesty, I don't know how to improve the strength of the dynasty. Xuanhuan asked. Dongfang Yuan waved his hand, and 3 5th-grade enlightenment pills, 10 4th-grade enlightenment pills, and 30 heavenly magic pills were placed in 3 transparent pill bottles and appeared in the mid-air of the hall. The fragrance of the elixirs wafted out from the bottle, making the officials and others on the field feel refreshed when they smelled it. Grand Marshal Feipeng was even more shocked and said with shock, "Your Majesty, could these be the legendary enlightenment pill and Tianfa pill?" "Yes, 30 heavenly magic pills are enough for me to come out to the state of birth of 30 Dharma phases. And 10 4th-grade enlightenment pills can make the 10 Dharma realms of our dynasty directly break through to the peak of Dharma realm. As for the 3 5th-grade enlightenment pills, Xuanhuan and Tai Marshal, you two and Tianyu King each have 1 pill. After your cultivation reaches the peak of the Dharma realm, you can directly break through to the Tianzuan realm level. However, the 5 enlightenment pills have a % chance of failure. I hope you will not disappoint me." Dongfang Yuan explained calmly. The pupils of Xuanhuan and Feipeng were burning at the moment, and their hearts were filled with excitement. The 5th-grade enlightenment pill. Even overlords like the Fengyun sect were not very powerful, so to their surprise, His Majesty actually took out 3 and gave them to them. Moreover, there are so many 4th-grade enlightenment pills and Tianfa pills. How did your Majesty get them? Could it be that His Majesty also secretly recruited a top alchemist? But these are no longer important. What they are most excited about now is that those enlightenment pills are used on them, which can directly allow them to break through to the Tianzuan realm, heavenly exalted realm. That was the realm they dreamed of. Yes. Your Majesty, please rest assured that we will definitely live up to your Majesty's high expectations. Xuanhuan and Feipeng both bowed their heads and saluted with extremely excited faces. It is good. The remaining heavenly magic pills and some 4th-grade enlightenment pills, Prime Minister Xua, will be left to your arrangement and distributed. Dongfang Yuan ordered again. My lord, I obey the order. My lord, thank you for your kindness. The left Prime Minister and the civil and military officials of the Manchu dynasty all knelt down and worshipped Dongfang Yuan. Dongfang Yuan immediately ordered to go down and let Prime Minister Xua and others arrange everything before they could break through with peace of mind. When they all break through, it will be the day when the Tianyan Dynasty begins to liquidate the forces such as the Blood Shadow Tower. After the officials retreated and left, King Tianyu returned and asked Dongfang Yuan about something. In a side hall, Dongfang Yuan brought King Tianyu here, with General Feipeng sitting next to him. King Tianyu, I wonder if you have anything else to do? Dongfang Yuan asked at this time. Your Majesty, I have something that I want to tell your Majesty, and I also want to remind your Majesty, King Tianyu said respectfully. Remind me? Tell me, what's going on? Dongfang Yuan said calmly. Your Majesty, now our Tianyan Dynasty has destroyed the Great Dream Dynasty and has shown its strong strength. But even if this is the case, the overlords in the Northern Territory should not take us seriously. But if we destroy the Blood Shadow Tower and the Evil Moon Palace next, we will attract the attention of those overlord forces. Those overlord forces will not allow another force to be born in the Northern Territory that can threaten their status. If the Tianyan Dynasty attracts their attention, it will not be a good thing for us. So I would like to remind your Majesty that if you are unable to confront those overlord forces head-on, it is better to recharge your batteries first, and wait until your foundation is strong enough to rise up and dominate the Northern Territory. After hearing what King Tianyu said, Dongfang Yuan had to say that he was indeed very thoughtful. They are thinking about the Tianyan Dynasty by putting themselves in their shoes. King Tianyu, I understand what you mean. However, I can also tell you clearly that our Tianyan Dynasty will confront those overlord forces sooner or later. At that time, they will either surrender or they will perish. No force can stop our Tianyan Dynasty from unifying the Northern Territory. And take Fengyun sect as an example. After Dongfang Xian's master comes out of seclusion and learns that his apprentice has been killed, he will definitely come to me to settle accounts. This is inevitable. As for when it comes time to face them, I can tell you clearly that the Tianyan Dynasty will not be defeated. Do you understand? Dongfang Yuan also said to King Tianyu in a serious tone. It was not that King Tianyu had not considered these issues when he saw Dongfang Yuan, but he still looked confident. As the king of a country, Dongfang Yuan already has this confidence, so what does he, as a minister, need to worry about? My lord, I understand. King Tianyu replied firmly. The Great Dream Dynasty was destroyed by the Tianyan Dynasty, the imperial palace was crushed into ruins by the powerful Tianzhuan realm, and Xiao Tianding's head was hung outside the wall of the Dian imperial city. These news also caused quite a stir in the entire northern territory. Chapter 15 Young Master of the Blood Shadow Tower. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I didn't expect that a Great Dream Dynasty in Nuada would be destroyed in such a short period of time. And Xiao Tianding's head is now hanging on the wall of Tianyan Imperial City. It's really miserable. I heard that a powerful man from the heavenly realm came to the damning palace in person and massacred King Shen and a group of officials who stayed behind. I heard that even the third elder of Fengshan Island died tragically at the hands of that heavenly realm man. I didn't expect that the Tianyan Dynasty would be able to invite powerful people in the Tianzhuan realm to help. This is really shocking. But having said that, the Tianyan Dynasty's secrets are really deep. It is said that Xiao Tianding was killed by 3 Tianyan Dynasty's peak Dharma realms. With the addition of Prime Minister Xua, the Tianyan Dynasty now has 4 experts at the peak of the Dharma realm. I heard that Dongfang Yuan is the emperor now. This is also a strange thing. Dongfang Xian didn't steal him. It seems that behind Dongfang Yuan, there should be someone at the top of the Dharma realm of the Tianyan Dynasty supporting him. Nowadays, many forces and warriors in the Northern Territory are talking about the collapse of the Great Dream Dynasty and the hidden strength of the Tianyan Dynasty. Nowadays, the outside world speculates that the powerful Tianzhuan who came to the damning palace was probably invited by the Tianyan Dynasty at a high price. After all, if the Tianyan Dynasty had powerful people in the Tianzhuan realm, the damning dynasty would naturally not dare to act recklessly, let alone plan to invade them. At this time, there is a mysterious place in the Northern Territory. This place is like an underground world, surrounded by many pavilions and several brightly colored palaces. There were many figures in red clothes walking in and out of the pavilions, including men, women and children. And looking at their clothes, you can understand that these people are all from the Blood Shadow Studio. This is also the legendary headquarters of the Blood Shadow Tower. As the largest killer force in the Northern Territory, the Blood Shadow Tower's headquarters location is extremely mysterious. Except for the Blood Shadow Tower's own people, all others who knew the location of the Blood Shadow Tower's headquarters have already gone to see the King of Hell. At this time, in a large hall, a handsome man with a thin body and a sickly look was sitting on a chair. This person is none other than the young master of the Blood Shadow Tower, Xuanhuan, and his pale face looked like he was not seriously ill or seriously injured, but, overdraft. Opposite Xuanhuan, there were several middle-aged men sitting. The person in the middle looks very similar to Xuanhuan, and he is Xuanhuan, the owner of the Blood Shadow Tower. Dad, is the information true? There is no one alive in Damning Palace, so isn't my Xiao Qingli also dead? Xuanhuan asked eagerly at this moment. Hua Chen went to see it, and there was indeed no one alive. It's basically impossible to survive if you take action at the Tianzhuan level. Xuanhuan replied with a slight frown at this moment. What he doesn't understand at this moment is which person in the Tianzhuan realm is helping the Tianyan Dynasty. At present, they don't have any clues about this. Damn it! Bastard! Then Xiao Qingli is the treasure that I have longed for. I will get her in a few days, but I didn't expect that something like this would happen. Damn it! Xuanhuan said with anger on his face. Xingyu, if Xiao Qingli dies, he will die. It's just an object for a person to absorb Yuan Yin. Just wait until Uncle Yu finds some good ones for you. Next to him, a fat man with a lot of fat said with a smile, although this fat man has a kind face, he is the second most powerful person in the Blood Shadow Tower after Xuanhuan. Deputy Landlord of Shuiying Building, Nanmenu. Oh, it's such a pity. Xiao Qingli is known as the most beautiful woman in the Great Dream Dynasty. Her Yuan Yin will definitely be rich and abundant. Now that she is dead, it is a pity. After hearing Nan Menyu's promise, Guan Xingyu's anger subsided and he sighed deeply, feeling a little regretful. By the way, the host. I heard that the third elder of Fenchen Island also died in Daming Palace. The third elder of Burntian Island has a close relationship with the owner of Burntian Island. They are brothers of life and death who grew up since childhood. Now that Sai Linmu is dead, I heard that the owner of Burning Sky Island has settled this debt on the Tianyan Dynasty. They have already sent people to cooperate with Xiaoyu Palace. I believe they will take the next step soon. Nan Menyu first smiled at Guan Xingyu, and then said to Guan Jiyan. Guan Jiyan sat in his seat and pondered. The Daming Dynasty teamed up with our Blood Shadow Studio and Xiaoyu Palace to design and kill the previous emperor of the Tianyan Dynasty. We have already formed a deadly feud with the Tianyan Dynasty, and it is impossible to ease it. Even if that good-for-nothing Dongfang Yuan succeeds to the throne, he will definitely avenge his father. In this case, the Tianyan Dynasty cannot stay any longer. Nan Menyu also had the same opinion as him and said, Master, Su Bai just broke through to the Tianzhuan realm a few days ago, otherwise, why don't we let him go to Tianyan Imperial City? If Xiaoyu Palace and Burning Sky Island fail, Su Bai's strength will be enough to cover it up. Su Bai, among the dozen or so gold medal killers in the Blood Shadow Studio, he ranks second. He is a veritable king of assassination. Guan Jiyan thought for a while, then nodded and said, Forget it, let Su Bai go. All he needs to do is enter the palace and kill Dongfang Yuan or Xuanhuan. When the Tianyan Dynasty is in chaos, other forces will definitely not let go of such a good opportunity, and they will definitely take advantage of them. Okay, I'll summon him immediately. Inside the Evil Moon Palace, above the main hall of Xiaoyu Palace, Jiang Baisheng, the master of Xiaoyu Palace, and Yuan Tianzong, the master of Fenchen Island, the two of them, including some senior officials from the two major forces, were all sitting here, apparently discussing plans on how to deal with the Tianyan Dynasty. Brother Jiang, the background of Tianyan Dynasty is unknown now, but Dongfang Yuan is definitely a loser. In this case, I think we can send a few people from both sides to sneak into Tianyan Palace and assassinate Dongfang Yuan. Use Dongfang Yuan's death to see the reality behind the Tianyan Dynasty. If the Tianzhuan who attacked Daming Palace was really just invited by them at a huge cost, then we don't need to worry about anything anymore. Immediately organize the troops and horses, unite and destroy the Tianyan Dynasty together. As for the Tianyan Dynasty's resources, how about our two families split it in half? Yuan Tianzong, the tall and burly owner of Fenchen Island, said at this moment. He was eager for revenge at the moment, but he did not lose his mind because of it. No matter what, they also need to find out whether the Tianzhuan realm who took action in Daming Dynasty has anything to do with Tianyan Dynasty, or whether the two are just using the relationship. Chapter 16 3 Conditions. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After listening to Yuan Tianzong's words, Jiang Baisheng, the master of Xiaoyu Palace, thought about it carefully and finally nodded slowly. That's all right, let's do what Brother Yuan said. Zhang Bai, please go to the Dream Dynasty in person and explore the reality of the palace. Zhang Bai was sitting next to Jiang Baisheng. He is the deputy palace master of Xiaoyu Palace. His cultivation level is at the peak of the Dharma realm, and he is only half a step away from the Heavenly Lord realm. Okay, Zhang Bai agreed immediately. Tianxiong, Xuanhuan, you two will go to Tianyan Dynasty with Deputy Palace Master Zhang to find out the truth. Yuan Tianzong also spoke. As for the two people he called, Lei Tianxiong is the great elder of Fenchen Island, and Bu Xuanhuan is the second elder. They are both at the peak of the Dharma realm and belong to the core high-level leaders of Fenchen Island. 3 Dharma realm peaks went to the Tianyan Dynasty. As long as it was confirmed that there was no Tianzhuan realm in the Tianyan Dynasty, that would be the time when their two forces would destroy the Tianyan Dynasty. Inside the palace of Dongfang Yuan came to his palace. 2 days have passed, and Shao Qingli's refining of Jiuyou's heart should be almost done. After he came in, he saw Shao Qingli sitting on his dragon bed with her eyes closed. Beloved concubine, how is your refining going? Dongfang Yuan walked slowly toward Xiao Qingli and asked lightly with a gentle smile on his face. After Xiao Qingli heard the voice, her eyes slowly opened. It can be seen that her pupils are beginning to turn purple due to the refining of Jiuyou's heart. The aura on Xiao Qingli's body has also grown a lot compared to before, because the effect of Jiuyou's heart directly made her realm improve dramatically. Breakthrough to the peak of Tianxian realm. A whole big realm. At this time, Xiao Qingli opened her eyes, looked at Dongfang Yuan who was coming, and said with a somewhat complicated expression, "Thank you. My dear concubine, I have said this a long time ago that no matter how good this Jiuyou's heart is, it can't be better than a wisp of black hair like yours. Besides, between you and me, there is no need to say thank you." Dongfang Yuan sat directly next to Xiao Qingli, very close to her, and saw that Xiao Qingli no longer resented him. Dongfang Yuan also put his hands directly around her shoulders, hugging her tightly. Men are generous and domineering, depending on the occasion. Xiao Qingli was being held by Dongfang Yuan at the moment. Although she frowned slightly and was obviously not used to it, she didn't say anything. Why are you so nice to me? The heart of the 9 netherworld is the most precious treasure in the world. Although I was once an empress, I am just a little warrior now. There is no reason for you to treat me like this. Xiao Qingli asked with a cold expression. She has been sorting out her troubled heart these days. Dongfang Yuan gave Jiuyou's heart to herself. If she just wanted to get herself, the price would be too high. Seeing this, Dongfang Yuan smiled faintly, and then said, "My dear concubine, do you want to hear the truth or a lie?" Xiao Qingli was a little confused. What is true and what is false? The lie is that the two of us are a perfect match, Dongfang Yuan said with a smile. What about the truth? Xiao Qingli asked. The smile on Dongfang Yuan's face slowly disappeared, his expression became serious, and his eyes were full of affection as he said, "My beloved concubine, from the first moment I saw you, I fell in love with you at first sight. I am so deeply in love that I can't extricate myself. I want to keep you by my side, not only to be the mother of my children, but also to assist me in my great cause. And I'll give you Jiuyou's heart, just like I said before. No matter how precious its value is, to me, it cannot compare to your eyes and smile. And the most important thing is, I also want you to fall in love with me. After all, although I can get you through forceful means, I don't bother to do that. The twisted melon is not sweet. If you really want to say that I have an agenda, I might just be coveting your heart. My love for you is like the gentle wind and rain, lasting and lasting. My beloved concubine, do you understand my emperor's thoughts?" Dongfang Yuan's sudden and affectionate confession at this moment, coupled with the affectionate expression on his face, couldn't help but make Xiao Qingli's heart feel a huge impact. Seeing how Dongfang Yuan felt about her, Xiao Qingli also fell into silent thinking. It is good. You want me to be your woman willingly, don't you? Xiao Qingli thought for a while before finally speaking. I can't ask for it, Dongfang Yuan replied seriously. In that case, I can promise you. But you have to promise me 3 things. Only after you complete these 3 things will I allow you to touch me. Xiao Qingli said seriously after careful consideration. It is good. You tell me, Dongfang Yuan said with a calm smile. The first thing is that the young master of the Blood Shadow Tower is plotting against me. I want you to destroy the Blood Shadow Tower, Xiao Qingli proposed. No problem. My beloved concubine, even if you don't tell me this condition, I will definitely destroy them in the Blood Shadow Tower. Just because they unite with Xiaoyu Palace and Xiao Tianding to kill my father, they are already on my must-kill list. Dongfang Yuan immediately agreed to this first condition without any hesitation. The second condition is that I want to refine an elixir. I found a lot of materials from the treasure house of the Dream Dynasty, but there are still 2 things missing. It's Tianyu 9-leaf grass and night moon crystal. I want you to help me find these 2 things. Regarding the second condition proposed by Xiao Qingli, Dongfang Yuan thought about it for a while. The sky 9-leaf grass and the night moon crystal are both extremely rare spiritual objects in the Northern Territory, but they are not completely extinct. As long as it still exists, he will have a way to get it. It is good. I also agree to this second condition. Dongfang Yuan immediately responded. After Xiao Qingli heard this, her face suddenly turned red with embarrassment, and then she forced herself to calm down and stated her last condition. And the third condition is: I don't care how many concubines you have in the future, I don't care about these, and I don't ask to restrain you. I only have one condition, and that is: I want to be the biggest. Ha! Upon hearing this third condition, Dongfang Yuan was stunned for a moment, and he couldn't believe what he heard, and after a few seconds, he suddenly burst out laughing. Ha 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 ha. Okay, I will agree to all these three conditions. My beloved concubine, wait until the first two conditions are fulfilled. How about this emperor directly hold a ceremony for you to become the queen of our Tianyan Dynasty? After hearing the third condition, Dongfang Yuan knew that the Empress Jiuyou had begun to have some ambiguous feelings towards him. Xiao Qingli's face turned red with embarrassment, but she still looked cold. She didn't answer, but nodded slightly. Seeing this, Dongfang Yuan leaned his face down while stroking Xiao Qingli's hair. Just when she thought Dongfang Yuan was going to speak next to her ear again, it turned out to be the case. Dongfang Yuan kissed her cold and delicate soft lips. Xiao Qingli couldn't help but widen her eyes, and her cheeks quickly heated up. But the next second, Dongfang Yuan's figure disappeared from the palace. His voice also came from outside the palace. I am going to fulfill the conditions that my concubine has given me. My concubine can move around freely in the palace without any worries. Chapter 17 Forest of 10,000 Beasts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After leaving the palace, Dongfang Yuan summons Xuanhuan, the prime minister, in a side hall. Compared with King Tianyu and Feipeng, who had to refine 2 enlightenment pills to break through, Xuanhuan refined 1 enlightenment pill and directly broke through to the Tianzun realm. His Majesty. I wonder why your Majesty called me here. After Xuanhuan arrived, he asked excitedly. It can be seen that Xuanhuan was still very excited after truly breaking through to the Tianzun realm. After all, he had reached the realm he had dreamed of, so why not be happy for a few days? Left Prime Minister. Do you know where there are Tianyu 9-leaf clover and night moon crystal? Dongfang Yuan also spoke. He had previously checked the Tianyan Dynasty's treasure house and did not find these two things. Obviously, Tianyan did not have these two things. Tianyu 9-leaf grass, Yeyue crystal, this. The left Prime Minister also began to think about it at this time. These two things are indeed rare in the Northern Territory, but they still appeared thousands of years ago. His Majesty. I remember it. Tianyu 9-leaf grass, Fengyun sect once obtained one 3,000 years ago. As for Yi Yujing, if I remember correctly, there seems to be one in 10,000 beasts forest. I wonder if your Majesty wants these two things, but to refine some kind of elixir. Xuanhuan also asked curiously. Yes, but I don't want to practice it. Fengyun sect, forest of 10,000 beasts. This is quite a coincidence. Although Fengyun sect has not attacked us now, sooner or later they will definitely confront us. And this forest of 10,000 beasts. Dongfang Yuan also sat in his seat and began to think deeply. Fengyun sect and 10,000 beasts forest are both overlord-level forces belonging to the Northern Territory. The highest leaders are all at the peak level of Tianzun realm, and they have profound foundations. And this forest of 10,000 beasts is even more special. This is not a human force, but a monster. All the people living in it are extremely powerful monsters, so it is called the forest of 10,000 beasts. Let's not talk about Fengyun sect for now. They will have to fight sooner or later anyway. Talking to them is useless. We can just grab them when the time comes. As for this forest of 10,000 beasts. Dongfang Yuan was rubbing his chin and thinking. The prime ministers while below listened to Dongfang Yuan's words, and his heart was trembling. Good fellow, His Majesty's behavior is completely similar to that of the previous emperors of the Tianyan Dynasty. The monarchs of the past dynasties all paid attention to convincing people with reason and repaying evil with virtue, and His Majesty, in fact, yearns for strength first, and robs whenever he can. This is similar to some villains, and recently, he also discovered that in the palace, there were suddenly some strong men at the peak of the Dharma realm. Some were wearing ninja clothes, and others were wearing golden armor. The aura exuded by each of them was almost the same as that of the gods laying guard. Should not be underestimated, Xuanhuan guessed in his heart that these people might be the dead soldiers secretly trained by His Majesty. Your Majesty's methods are truly unpredictable and mysterious. Could it be that our Tianyan dynasty will become a villain in the future? Prime Minister Zhou couldn't help but have this doubt in his heart. While Zhou Xiang was thinking in his heart, Dongfang Yuan also thought about it. Well, the foundation is not deep enough now, and it would not be good if we make too many enemies. Prime Minister left, so be it. Go to the forest of 10,000 beasts in person, take this, and exchange the night moon crystal with them. Dongfang Yuan waved his finger, and a pill appeared in front of Prime Minister Zhou. 5th grade enlightenment pill. Your Majesty, isn't it a bit of a loss? Prime Minister Zhou looked at the elixir floating in front of his eyes and couldn't help but say, the value of the 5th grade enlightenment pill is extremely precious in the entire Northern Territory, especially in today's era when alchemists and weapon refiners are rare and scarce. The 5th grade enlightenment pill is enough to make some high-level officials of the Overlord Force sway. The value of a night moon crystal is far less than that of a 5th grade enlightenment pill. After all, this is a ready-made elixir that can allow people to break through to the heavenly realm. Although the value of the 5th grade enlightenment pill is higher than that of Yi Yujing, Dongfang Yuan actually doesn't care in his heart. Dongfang Yuan still has 3 of the 5th grade enlightenment pills in his hand, so it doesn't hurt to take out one. No problem. Take out this one to show your sincerity better. All right. Go ahead and come back quickly. Dongfang Yuan waved his hand and then said, Yes, Your Majesty. Seeing this, Zhou Xiang stopped talking. He put away the 5th grade enlightenment pill in front of him, then turned around and left the hall. 2 days later, Tianyan Imperial City. At this moment, in an inn, Zhang Bai, Lei Tianxiong, and Xuanhuan have also arrived at Tianyan Imperial City. Let's do this, Brother Tianxiong. When it gets dark, you and I will enter the palace together. After we find out the reality of Tianyan Dynasty, as long as there is a chance, we will directly cut off Dongfang Yuan's head and take it away. At that time, we can order the palace to chaos. Brother Morimoto, you will meet us outside the palace wall to prevent any accidents. How do you two feel? Zhang Bai, deputy head of Xiaoyu Palace, said slowly. At this time, Lei Tianxiong and Xuanhuan looked at each other and nodded. Okay, just do it like Brother Zhang. If there is no Tianzun level person in charge of Tianyan Dynasty, then we will directly kill Dongfang Yuan and plunge Tianyan Dynasty into chaos so that we can escape. After returning, we will immediately integrate the disciples and destroy the Tianyan Dynasty. The 3 of them hit it off and decided to sneak into the palace when darkness fell tonight. Late at night, the moon is dark and the wind is high at night, when murderers and arsonists, the entire imperial city was shrouded in night, which was the signal for Zhang and Bai to take action. Xuanhuan followed the plan and stayed outside the palace wall. Zhang Bai and Lei Tianxiong, on the other hand, restrained their auras from each other, hid in the darkness, and quickly groped deep into the palace from the edge of the palace, and just as they were passing through a corridor, Lei Tianxiong and the two avoided the gazes of some patrolling officers and leaned against the wall of a corridor. Suddenly, in the darkness of the corridor, a pair of eyes suddenly opened. At the same time, Lei Tianxiong suddenly felt a cold feeling on his back, and turned around with a trembling expression. Who? Chapter 18 Confused. You are listening at novelfull.audio. But when Lei Tianxiong turned his head, he found that there was nothing behind him but a large dark shadow. Brother Lei, what's wrong with you? Seeing this, Zhang Bai couldn't help but wonder. Earlier, I seemed to feel that someone was staring at me, and I felt uncomfortable all over. Lei Tianxiong looked at the surroundings in front of him and frowned. Zhang Bai also looked at it carefully and said, You must be too worried. There is no one here. Lei Tianxiong felt very strange. His back suddenly felt cold, as if there were a pair of eyes looking at him in the dark, but why were they suddenly gone? Maybe. Go. After Lei Tianxiong finally saw that no one was there, he relaxed a little. The two of them set off again, heading towards the depths of the palace. At this time, inside a side hall of the palace, Dongfang Yuan was sitting in his seat, and a shadow guard below reported, "Master, there are two people at the peak of the Dharma realm sneaking into the palace late at night with evil intentions. Do they need to be suppressed immediately?" That the eyes that Lei Tianxiong felt just now were the shadow guards. The shadow guards' concealment skills are extremely strong, especially when hiding in the darkness late at night. If he does not want to be exposed, it will be very difficult for even those in the same realm to discover him. "Oh. Are you two at the peak of Dharma realm?" That when Dongfang Yuan heard this, an interesting smile appeared on his face, his soul power spread out immediately. Now he was at the 5th level of Tianzuan realm, and his soul suddenly enveloped every corner of the palace. Sure enough, he found Zhang Bai and Lei Tianxiong in a blind corner of the palace. Okay. There is still a breath. It turned out to be the Tianzuan level. It seems that a big mouse ran in. Dongfang Yuan was still in another part of the palace at this moment, and discovered the aura of a heavenly master. Although he was well hidden, he was nowhere to be seen in front of Dongfang Yuan. "Don't kill them yet. Let them come. In addition, inform General Feipeng, and the big rat at the Tianzuan level will be handed over to him. Remember, don't kill me all at once, I want to live." Dongfang Yuan said to the bottom. "Yes. Master." For a time, 4 or 5 voices rang out in the entire side hall. All of them were shadow guards hidden in the surrounding corners. The 10 shadow guards are the surveillance eyes of Dongfang Yuan. Unless the realm is much higher than them, it will be difficult for anyone to detect their existence. After Dongfang Yuan gave the order, several other shadow guards also gave the green light and smoothly let Lei Tianxiong and Zhang Bai come to the front of the palace. The two of them leaned against the window and saw Dongfang Yuan alone inside, reviewing the coupons. "I didn't expect it to go so smoothly. From the looks of it, there really is no Tianzuan-level person in charge of the Tianyan Dynasty. Otherwise, we should have been discovered all the way to the deep palace and caused a huge commotion." Lei Tianxiong said with a relaxed expression at this moment. They traveled unimpeded and arrived in front of the palace smoothly, apparently without anyone noticing. Otherwise how could they have exposed Dongfang Yuan to danger? "In that case, let's do it. Kill Dongfang Yuan, then evacuate immediately and leave the imperial city." Zhang Bai smiled lightly. "It is good. Go." Lei Tianxiong made a quick decision, and he and Zhang Bai broke open the window and rushed into the hall. The aura at the peak of the Dharma realm was exuded, his hands glowed with spiritual light and his palms contained an overwhelming power, and he grabbed directly towards Dongfang Yuan's neck. "Die." Lei Tianxiong smiled contemptuously, "A good-for-nothing prince, killing him is like squeezing an ant to death." Without much effort on his part, Zhang Bai also stood there and smiled confidently, blocking the doorway. Facing Dongfang Yuan, he didn't even bother to take action. LB. At this moment, Lei Tianxiong's palm was only 3 inches away from Dongfang Yuan's neck, but he could not grasp the short 3 inches. It was as if there was an invisible force emanating from Dongfang Yuan's body to protect him, preventing Lei Tianxiong's hand from taking an inch forward. How can that be? Lei Tianxiong looked shocked. What the fuck is going on? Why can't I put my hand in? Zhang Bai looked at the sudden change in front of him and was a little confused for a moment. Lei Tianxiong can't even kill a trash. What a joke. The next second, Zhang Bai immediately rushed forward, condensing his strength with his 2 fingers, and pointed towards Dongfang Yuan's face. As a result, he ended up with the same fate as Lei Tianxiong. His power was 3 feet away and it was difficult to make any further progress. Moreover, their hands seemed to be stuck, and they couldn't break free at this moment. How come? You. Zhang Bai was shocked in his heart and immediately realized that it was not them who had the problem, but Dongfang Yuan. This bitch is forced to pretend to be a pig and eat the tiger. Dongfang Yuan looked calm, closed the book in his hand, raised his head and looked at the two of them, with a relaxed smile on his face. You are Zhang Bai, the deputy palace of Xiaoyu Palace, and you are the great elder of Fengchen Island. Lei Tianxiong. What do you want to do when you two come to my Tianyan Palace late at night? Dongfang Yuan, you, how could you have such power? Zhang Bo didn't have time to go around in circles with Dongfang Yuan. At this moment, he was trembling with fear. What puzzled him was, where did this power in Dongfang Yuan come from? How? Why do you all think that this emperor is weak? Can't you think of me a little better? You came here so late at night, don't you just want to see the strength of our Tianyan dynasty? In this case, I will satisfy you. A light flashed in Dongfang Yuan's eyes, and then a force shook out, sending Zhang Bai and Lei Tianxiong flying to the center of the hall. Boom! 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 At this time, Zhang and Bai were standing on the spot and had just stabilized their bodies, when many figures suddenly appeared around them. More than 20 Dharma Realm Peak Guards, including Shadow Guards, Golden Armor Guards, and God-slaying Guards, were surrounding them in the hall at this moment. In addition, Feipeng and King Tianyu, who came immediately after receiving the news, also immediately blocked the palace door. The auras of these people were not concealed, and the auras of more than 20 peaks of Dharma realm were emitted, which directly made Zhang and Bai sweat like rain on their backs, and their faces instantly turned extremely pale. In the middle, the auras of King Tianyu and Feipeng also spread out. The aura of cultivation in the Tianzuan realm caused Zhang Bai and Lei Tianxiong to feel turbulent in their hearts. Their pupils were about to burst, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Feipeng, sure Baitian, you have all broken through to the heavenly realm. And there are these peaks of Dharma realm. How is this possible? How could your Tianyan dynasty have such a foundation? This is impossible. Zhang Bai and Lei Tianxiong were both going crazy. The strength that Tianyan dynasty brought out at this time was really terrifying. With such a lineup placed in the northern territory, except for those overlord-level forces, no other forces would dare to confront them head-on. But what puzzles them is that these peak Dharma realms of the Tianyan dynasty have never appeared before, and they all have unfamiliar faces. There are also King Tianyu and Feipeng, both of whom have reached the Tianzuan realm. This is an incredible thing. The scene in front of them had a great impact on the hearts of the two of them. Because they were so horrified, their expressions seemed to be petrified for a moment. If they had known that Tianyan dynasty had such a strong foundation, how could they have joined forces with Daming dynasty to attract their attention? At this time, outside the palace, on a roof, there was a masked man in black hiding in a dark place. Although he was some distance away from the palace, his Tianzuan realm cultivation was enough to prevent what happened in the side hall. Things can be seen clearly. Chapter 19: The Power of Feipeng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. How is this possible? How come there are so many powerful men from the Tianyan dynasty appearing all at once? The masked man in black looked at the situation in the palace. Although his face was covered, it could be seen from his eyes that he was very shocked in his heart. And this Dongfang Yuan. It seems that he is a very hidden person. For so long, everyone in the Northern Territory has been deceived by him. At such a young age, one's mind is so evil. It's really terrifying. The eyes of this masked man in black are also looking at Dongfang Yuan in the palace. Judging from the series of things that happened tonight, it shows that Dongfang Yuan is not simple. It is no longer suitable to stay here for a long time. It's impossible to assassinate him. It's better to leave first. The masked man in black also decided to be careful, and for safety reasons, it would be better to evacuate first, and just as he turned around, he suddenly saw a cold figure in silver-white armor on the roof in front of him, with his hands behind his back and his eyes fixed on him. After watching it for so long, you want to just leave? There is nothing so good in the world. Feipeng looked at the masked man in black and said with an indifferent expression. The masked man in black looked shocked. To be honest, he didn't notice Feipeng appearing behind him at all, let alone how long he had been observing him. The aura on Feipeng's body was restrained, and the man in black couldn't tell the depth. But one thing he was sure of was that the strength of the man in front of him was definitely above his own. Su Bai did not expect that there were hidden dragons and crouching tigers in Tianyan Palace, and there were such powerful people. Who are you? When has there ever been a person like you in the Tianyan dynasty? Su Bai asked with cautious eyes. The corner of his eyes was also looking around to see if there was a suitable place to escape. An old friend of mine once said, Dead people don't need to remember my name, Feipeng replied coldly. I am at the heavenly realm, and so are you. Once a fight breaks out, the entire palace will be destroyed. Not as good as this. If you let me go, I can promise that from now on, I will never set foot in Tianyan Imperial City again. How? Seeing that the situation in front of him was not good for him, Su Bai wanted to use the palace to blackmail Feipeng and negotiate terms with him. Feipeng listened to his words, and a smile appeared on his sharp-edged, cold and indifferent face. You think too highly of yourself. You are not worthy of fighting me. As soon as Feipeng finished speaking, a pressure from his body was released, crushing and covering Su Bai. Su Bai immediately released his strength to resist, but the moment Feipeng's pressure came over him, Su Bai felt as if he was being pressed down by a huge mountain. His knees couldn't hold up at all, and he immediately knelt on the spot. His whole body was crushed by this coercion and he was kneeling on the ground. He could not mobilize his whole strength at all. It was completely a dimensionality reduction blow. I said that. If you want to compete with me, you are far from qualified. Feipeng stood where he was and never moved. He didn't even take action. He just released a wisp of coercion in his body, directly suppressing Su Bai without any resistance. Who would have thought? Su Bai, the fourth killer of the Tang Blood Shadow Studio, the second among the gold medal killers, and the title of King of Assassinations. At this moment, he was suppressed by a wisp of pressure and fell to his knees on the ground, unable to move. You are at the pinnacle of Xuanhuan realm. Spare your life. Spare your life, senior. I know I was wrong. Spare my life. At this time, Su Bai knelt on the ground and trembled in fear, begging for mercy. He had never been so scared before, but now, after personally feeling the power of the 9th level of Xuanhuan realm, he finally understood what despair meant. The realm of deity is different from the realm of Dharma. The realms of Dharma realm are divided into the early stage, the middle stage, the late stage and the peak. The differentiation of Xuanhuan realm is divided into 9 levels of heaven. The owner of the Shuiying Tower, who was as powerful as them, was only at the 3rd level of the Xuanhuan realm, and even if they are in the 3rd level of Xuanhuan realm, they can only kneel down and beg for mercy when facing the strong ones in the 9th level of Xuanhuan realm. Once a strong person in the Xuanhuan realm reaches the 7th heaven or above of the Xuanhuan realm, he will be in one realm. Looking at the 9th level of Xuanhuan realm, looking at the entire northern territory, there are no more than 10 fingers. And everyone is a famous big shot, stomping their feet. The most powerful person in the northern territory will tremble. At this moment, there is actually a person at the peak of Xuanhuan realm in Tianyan Dynasty. Su Bai's heart was scared to pieces. He was not here to assassinate him, he was clearly here to die. At this time, Xiao Qingli, who was in the palace, noticed the movement in the side hall. When she came here, she also saw the scene of Su Bai being suppressed by Feipeng. After learning about Feipeng's cultivation level, she was also a little surprised. In this Tianyan dynasty, not only Dongfang Yuan is not simple, but other people are also not simple. Just having a strong man at the 9th level of Xuanhuan realm, the Tianyan dynasty is not far away from becoming a hegemonic power. Listening to Su Bai's begging for mercy, Feipeng didn't pay attention. Now that the people have been suppressed, all we have to do is wait for His Majesty to summon him. Xiao Qingli was also walking towards the side hall where the crowd gathered. At this moment, in the hall, Zhang Bai and Lei Tianxiong were about to collapse. They really regret it in their hearts, and they really want to say something. Your Tianyan dynasty has this kind of foundation, it would be better to bring it out sooner. If you take it out, who will dare to provoke you? The hearts of both of them are full of regret. The most important thing is that if the two of them die here today, it was impossible for Fengshan Island and Xiaoyu Palace to know that the foundation of Tianyan dynasty was so profound. Next, the two of them no longer dare to think further. Chapter 20 Kill 3 People. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, Zhang Bai and Lei Tianxiong stood there in shock, their legs a little numb. It's not that they don't want to leave, it's that they are surrounded inside and outside at this moment, and they really can't leave. What's more, there are two powerful Xuanhuan realms, King Tianyu and Tai Poyan, in front of them. They are simply powerless and are completely in a desperate situation. Dongfang. Emperor Yuan, what happened today is a misunderstanding. We, the two of us are here to apologize to you. Zhang Bai immediately gave Lei Tianxiong a wink secretly. Lei Tianxiong understood the idea and immediately said with a smile, yes, we did come to Emperor Yuan tonight to apologize. This caused a misunderstanding. Listening to the words of the two people, Dongfang Yuan felt a little ridiculous in his heart. His expression became subtle. He sat down again, with a wicked smile on his face and said, "Do you think you are the fool or am I the fool? You want to kill someone, but you find that you are not strong enough, and you still want to escape intact. Why don't you go find a random girl on the street and let her sleep with you? There is nothing so beautiful in this world. If you make a choice, you have to pay the price. Poyan, search for their souls." Both of them are high-level officials of Xiaoyu Palace and Burning Sky Island, and they should have some valuable things in their minds. After searching for souls, kill them and drain them of whatever value they have left. Yes. Tai Poyan looked firm and responded immediately. Then, his face turned cold, and the aura of Tianzuan realm suppressed Zhang Bai and Lei Tianxiong fiercely, and he gradually took steps toward them. Search for souls. When Zhang and Bai heard that their souls were being searched, their faces turned pale with fright. They looked at each other, as if they had made up their minds, and their expressions became determined. They immediately mobilized all the power in their bodies, and their bodies became hot and collided, as if they were about to explode. Humph! In front of the Tianzuan realm, you must have the opportunity to self-destruct. Seeing that Zhang and Bai wanted to self-destruct, Tai Poyan smiled disdainfully. Then his figure flashed past and appeared in front of the two of them. Then the two hands mercilessly penetrated Zhang Bai and Lei Tianxiong's bodies, severely breaking the strength they had gathered. Chi. Puff. Both of them spat out a mouthful of bright red blood at the same time, but at the next moment, a pair of bloody hands were pulled out from their bodies and placed on their heavenly spirit caps. Powerful power poured into their bodies from the palms of their hands, directly searching for their souls. What? Zhang Bai and Lei Tianxiong let out heartrending screams, as if they were being fried in a frying pan. The cruel screams made people's hearts tremble. Soul searching is the destruction of a person's soul. Even if the person whose soul is being searched is immortal, his soul will definitely suffer serious damage, and he will probably become mentally retarded as a result. Dongfang Yuan watched Tai Poyan search their souls with a calm and indifferent expression, without any fluctuation in his expression. Not long after the soul search was over, their bodies instantly softened, and they collapsed on the cold ground like two maggots. Your Majesty, there are 3 people here this time. There is another person outside the palace wall. He is the second elder of Fengshan Island, Xuanhuan. He is responsible for the reception, so he did not enter the palace. I beg you to go and capture him alive. Tai Poyan said respectfully. Dongfang Yuan sat in his seat and thought for a while, and finally said, "That's fine, you go ahead. But it's no longer necessary to capture him alive. He has no value anymore, so just kill him. Then, hang the heads of these 3 people together on the wall of the imperial city, so that Shao Tianding will not be so lonely." Yes. I obey the order. Tai Poyan responded. Then, Tai Poyan turned around and left the side hall, while Lei Tianxiong and Zhang Bai were also dragged down by 2 shadow guards. Okay, let's leave now. Dongfang Yuan waved his hand and motioned for them to retreat. Yes. Your Majesty. King Tianyu, the god-slaying guard, and the Jinjiawi all turned around and left the hall. After they all left, Dongfang Yuan looked at Xiao Qingli who was standing outside the hall, and smiled softly. My beloved, it's so late and you haven't slept yet. Xiao Qingli walked in with a calm expression. How can I possibly sleep when there is such a big commotion here? What? Is my beloved concubine worried about the emperor? Dongfang Yuan joked. Xiao Qingli rolled her eyes and did not answer him. Dongfang Yuan smiled slightly, waved his hand, and a force sent Xiao Qingli to his side. Sitting on the same chair with him, Dongfang Yuan put his arm around her. My dear concubine, since you are here, you and I will meet the biggest mouse tonight. Immediately, holding Xiao Qingli in his arms, Dongfang Yuan got excited late at night and clapped his hands unconsciously, snapped. Just say it. Can you please stop spanking me? Do you know that your hands are very rough? Xiao Qingli couldn't bear it anymore. Every time he was unprepared, Dongfang Yuan slapped him in the face. Although he didn't use spiritual power, the power of nature couldn't help but leave a layer of red marks on her snow-white and soft skin. Yes, yes, yes. I promise, there will be no next time. Dongfang Yuan smiled and reassured, there is no next time, but there is a next time twice, a next time 3 times, 108,000 times. When Xiao Qingli saw this, he snorted coldly and was not really angry. General, bring the people in. After Dongfang Yuan stopped joking, he also straightened his face and spoke in a serious tone. Suddenly, 2 figures appeared in the main hall. Su Bai, whose face was covered, was directly pressed hard by Feipeng's finger on his shoulder, and with a bang, he knelt down in the main hall, and listening to the voice, there are also some crisp sounds mixed in. Judging from Dongfang Yuan's experience on Earth, he was often sent to the hospital for some romantic things. Su Bai's knees were broken. Hiss. But this Su Bai is also a man. His knee was shattered. He just sucked in a breath and his body trembled a little. He didn't cry out in pain. Thank you for your hard work, General. Say it. Are you the one from the Blood Shadow Studio? Dongfang Yuan asked with a playful smile on his face. Although Su Bai's face was covered, his eyes were shocked for a moment. You, how do you know that I am from the Blood Shadow Tower? Su Bai asked in confusion. With your physical skills and your stealth skills, only the killers of the Blood Shadow Tower can possess them. And your cultivation is at the first level of Tianzuan realm. As far as I know, apart from your landlord Guan Zhiyun and deputy landlord Nan Menu, there seems to be only the number 1 gold medal killer death centipede in the Blood Shadow Tower. It's the heavenly realm, right? But it is rumored that the dead centipede kills people with insects, and its true body can be 10 miles away, so you should not be him. Dongfang Yuan analyzed objectively. Xiao Qingli next to her was thinking the same thing as Dongfang Yuan. This person is probably a gold medal killer who was once at the peak of the Dharma realm, but has only recently broken through to the Tianzuan realm.